Look, the way that Ben's been pronouncing things, I really would not put him past him, you know. So I have complete faith.
I was being nice about it too, trying my best to give him an easy out. Is it hard lead? Is it hard let? He's like, no, I think it's hard lead. I'm pretty sure it is. It could be, but.
All right, in the bottom right-hand side, we're gonna kick off this PvP with the Blue Protoss player, ShoWTimE. Lost a skillless earlier in the groups, but has otherwise been looking pretty darn good.
And his opponent, up here in the top left, it's the captain, the cowboy. It's Harstem.
And yet I've never seen him
many nicknames.
actually be a cowboy or actually be a captain.
I have no idea how he got those nicknames, but
well, the captain is definitely
cool.
because at one time when they went out, they found a sailor's hat, and he just became the captain. And that meme really just stuck because he used to wear the cap on stream a lot, like the
Right.
captain's hat. The cowboy.
I think there's more to being a captain than wearing a hat. Though.
Well, you know, we could argue that, but I think the cowboy one is because one day he just thought I'd be cool if I was called the cowboy, so he's just started a rumor. He's like, hey, you hear people call me the cowboy, and everyone's like, literally, no, never heard that in my life. He's like, oh yeah, the other day they called me the cowboy, and I think it's kind of cool. And then, you know, a couple of people from chat are like, hey, I like it, and they start calling him the cowboy. I think it's, I think that's how he's gotten his nickname here. I think it's all propaganda.
Okay. That could be.
Propaganda.
He's moving around right now. Both players. Yeah, both players have decided to proxy a pylon right next to each other, but neither of them is aware of it, which can get a little bit awkward.
It's a classic PvP move, right? When you just both kind of do the little proxy. Yeah, very funky. And we'll see if anyone actually wants to build beyond this. It looks as though ShoWTimE just clicked his probe back up there, so I think he is genuinely going to look to get something done in the next couple of moments. Put something down on this position. And,
is he going to see that? No, it's just barely out of range, but he does see the probe, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If he was paying attention, I think ShoWTimE could have seen the worker there. On the minimap, yeah, he did. So he's going to scout his opponent's proxy right away. So what do you do now? If you know that your opponent is proxied right next to you, but your opponent doesn't know, but you're both making the same structures.
I think you make a Void Ray.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Normally, you would never proxy a Void Ray here.
Void Ray would be terrible, apart from in this scenario, maybe.
It's still kind of a question mark, though. All right, well, at the very least, the Adept is out, so we're going to get a little bit of damage done. ShoWTimE running with two of his across the map right now as well. Only a single one produced, by the way, for Harstem.
Yep, just going to be seeing the two of them from ShoWTimE heading across, so he's going to be able to start putting some pressure on, and like I say, he's actually just going to build the Phoenix, which is also like a catch-all in terms of being able to deny your opponent's Stargate units, so he will be able to jump on the Oracle. The Oracle will not be able to outrun a Phoenix, as it would have been able to outrun a Void Ray if it didn't kill it straight away. I just kind of like the Void Ray because he would have been able to shut down the pylon or so, but maybe he doesn't use it for more than one Oracle anyways, then it doesn't really matter. The Phoenix gets there, the Oracle's gone.
What?
And,
okay,
yeah,
the Oracle just flew away.
Yeah, just leave, bro.
Yeah, you just leave, okay. There's a strange interaction in the bottom left-hand corner, but ultimately, yeah, these Adepts are gonna get countered. Harstem didn't really... Oh, hello, we need to still kill the other one, okay. Yeah, Stalker also stopped chasing right there for just a moment. Phoenix is gonna start flying after this at this point too, but ultimately, ShoWTimE is, yeah, got a couple more workers here.
He usually does is just have our Phoenix flying in. A Stalker going to go push that Phoenix back out. Twilight Council's already dropping down from Harstem in the main base. And, yeah, kind of a really interesting scenario. Harstem got his Adept in the main of ShoWTimE, but only one Adept can't do much. And yeah, we're just going to end up on an expansion after a very weird setup.
Absolutely. I mean, this happens sometimes in PvP, right? We had a little bit of that as well in the previous series where the ways we get to the mid-game are a little bit funky, but it seems like ultimately we do get there. ShoWTimE getting some damage done over here. Where's that Phoenix? Okay, Phoenix in the meantime is hanging out at home.
I figured out the map name. It's Sighted Elta. We saw Elta from afar.
Sighted Elta? The space is in the wrong place? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we messed it up when we uploaded the map. It all makes sense now. This map was so... The map name was just so confusing, man. I'm glad we figured it out. Oof. I don't know why I'm still thinking about this 5 minutes in the game. It's really on
I was just
mind.
thinking about Ben calling you the mathy science guy. And he said that physics is basically math, which I also... I don't know much about physics, I'll be the first to admit that, but I feel like that could be considered kind of offensive by the physics community.
No, physics is applied math. Now, mathematicians would not like it. Mathematicians will tell you everything is math. Yeah.
See, I don't really know the gatekeeping in the science community very well.
It's the math guys you want to watch out for. They'll tell you some weird stuff.
Yeah,
the good thing is they don't speak in words, they speak in numbers. You can mostly get by, but like if you ever translate it, you get your calculator out and use the Google Translate feature. Yeah, it's full of insults.
Is that how it works? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Third next is coming up right now for Harstem, also known as the captain, or apparently the cowboy. Apparently because one of them is a cool word.
We should give him
There's a lot of cool words out there, though.
Why don't we just give him a new nickname right now? Just for the future.
Like a cool word, or something exactly the opposite?
You can pick, and I'll get behind it.
Ooh, that's a lot of pressure.
You pick, I'll get behind it.
Think about this one for a little bit.
Okay, you have the rest of the series to figure it out.
All right. What is in the same category of cowboys and captains? I guess it has to start with the C. Oh. And it has to be a profession.
It has to be a profession.
Cowboy is a profession, right?
The chef. Cowboys.
The chef. Harstem, the chef.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
He's cooking up some build orders, man.
He's cooking up build orders. There it is. Chef Harstem has just been born. Excellent. The cowboy, the captain, the chef.
Stalkers.
It works. It's in the same category.
Stalkers.
I think we've really figured out the criteria here.
Oh god, today's games casting wise would just be a disaster.
What do you mean? I think it's been fun.
Yeah.
This
is like that time.
Cooking, but
this is like the time we were at Home Story Cup and we were laughing about oracles for like 45 minutes straight. We thought it was great, and everyone else is just like, what are they doing?
I still think about the foracles sometimes, as we do have a couple of the foracles here, or no, 2 of the foracles only. So half a foracle going down.
Yep.
We have one more flying around over here. Can he get any damage in? Couple units in the meantime. Yeah, the adepts here in the natural expansion of ShoWTimE. Okay, gotta force the recall on the stalkers.
That's nice though from Harstem, right? I mean, it's a fairly even game. He loses a couple units, but he gets some probes in return, and he forces his opponent to turn back home. That's a big deal, because now he can come back on the map himself a little bit. He knows recalls on cooldown too, and you can maybe play around that idea of like, hey, your opponent can't reposition as much now. Maybe there's a move or two you can make, try and pull him out of position a little bit more, and then strike elsewhere once again. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a timing window perhaps in that regard for Harstem. Otherwise, yeah, he's just going to get rid of that pylon on the Stargate, and he's going to back it up. 4th base on the way down.
Excellent work here by the chef, building up his macro advantage here as well. Those Stargates in the bottom left-hand corner, by the way, are still around. I mean, obviously, ShoWTimE's one has been unpowered for quite a while, but it's always funny to see those units in the middle of the map, or those structures, rather, in the middle of the map, just completely abandoned after they were the most important thing in the earlier stages of this game. But anyhow, yeah, we're just transitioning towards a nice little macro game here. Charge coming up as well for Harstem at this point. There's no charge on the production tab just yet for ShoWTimE. He may just decide to go for that mass stalker style that we saw from Skillis in the previous game.
Yeah, lots and lots of stalkers. So you obviously see Harstem really taking steps forward into that Dark Shrine, the Robo Facility too. Maybe even start going in towards Disruptors, right? Very quickly could be a good way to go about things. I feel like you're laughing. You're laughing at what I'm suggesting.
The Carpenter. That is a fantastic one too.
I think
the chef has to be the one now. Yeah, Carpenter is also good though.
Carpenter's great.
Let him cook.
He's laying the groundwork for the rest of this game. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's trying his best, man. Trying to make sure the floor over here is solid and building up whatever structures he can.
I think Carpenter's the one because we both laughed about it the moment we saw it. We knew, man. We knew. I'm not gonna lie. I've got no idea what's happening in this game. ShoWTimE's up like 20 army, and he's pushing.
Yeah. ShoWTimE has been doing a better job out-moving the Carpenter here for just a little bit, out-controlling him and outpacing him a bit. Economically speaking, though, this is not a bad situation here for Harstem, but the question is, can he hold on? Yeah, he's forced to pull at least some of the probes. In the meantime, there is a counterattack, so we have some damage being dealt by Dark Templar inside of the main base, as well as the natural expansion here of ShoWTimE. The defensive positioning here, though, for Harstem is nice. Shield batteries are finishing up, instant battery overcharge, and he does keep that Nexus around. ShoWTimE does clear out at least some of the Carpenter's Dark Templar there, but trying his best.
Yeah, that was a fun fight because obviously Harstem a bit down on army supply in a big way because he invested into further tech, right? Which we're now starting to see the benefits of. The Dark Templar, for example, are the exact kind of thing which he's now benefiting from and he'll keep benefiting from. A shame Harstem lost so many probes himself, but the army supplies do even out. Overall, this is a closer game now than it was before ShoWTimE went into that engagement. So Harstem is able to stick out and stay in this game a little bit longer. Shadow Stride now on the way as well, so really investing deeper into these later game harassing units.
Yeah, really hammering home his advantage over here. Trying his best to, yeah, just secure himself in this particular situation, right? So it's always difficult to make a transition at this point in the game. ShoWTimE does have a small upgrade lead, nothing all too significant, so I do like here that Harstem decides to back off with ground weapons level 2 finishing up right now. Okay, at the very least he's going to be even there, and he instantly fires up the +3 upgrade there as well, which is super important. He does have that Dark Shrine here, which is not yet available for ShoWTimE, so we'll have to see if he decides to make that investment at any point. Neither player really teching up to anything like, for example, Disruptors or anything along those lines.
Yeah, I really thought we might see some Disruptors already, but clearly they're playing a close enough game. They don't think they can kind of get into those Disruptors, so they've stayed away from that for the moment as we do begin to engage through the bottom side. And obviously, this is kind of where PvP becomes very cool. And I guess this late game is all about like a lot of Stalker movement, going back and forth and all sorts. It's, yeah, I guess very fun. And you got to start splitting up these armies. And, you know, now Harstem's going to lose a 5th base. Good move from ShoWTimE, who's also looking to strike on the bottom left. Harstem knows that. He's keeping his main army in position there.
Yeah, he's forced to cancel that base over there. ShoWTimE, in the meantime, trying to engage on the left, but he sees the amount of units that Harstem has left behind. There's once again damage being done over at the 3 o'clock position, though, as Harstem is trying to run in whatever he can, but it looks like those Dark Templar there do get cleaned up as well. Trying to get some counterattack damage done. Not really achieving that much this time around, but at the very least, ShoWTimE here was forced to turn around.
Stalkers up the left-hand side, though. I mean, ShoWTimE has... I feel like, again, just back up to like a 30 army supply lead, which is kind of ridiculous where he's just getting this army supply from. Though on equal workers, he's just taking better fights. He's taking way better trades, honestly. Actually, 3,000 resource loss difference at this point in the game in a mirror is a huge deal.
Yeah. No, he's got like a dozen more Stalkers than his opponent here, which is very, very substantial. And it also allows him to just be so aggressive, right? It's hard to be the aggressor when you do have the smaller army numbers. Coming in up again for the Northern attack, and he does force to cancel there on that Nexus another time. Now the rest of that Stalker army in blue catches a bunch of those red Stalkers once again. ShoWTimE really solidifying his lead here in this particular game, just expanding left, right, and center as well, trying his best. Now he's fighting in a choke point over here on a ramp, which is not optimal at all, but Harstem's army is not quite big enough to really chase down these units.
Yeah, that's the issue. Harstem really has no chase available as he's going to kind of catch around here, but I feel like that's okay for ShoWTimE. He's just going to take it. Harstem finishes his own +3 attacks. The upgrades have just about evened out now. ShoWTimE, I love what he's doing with the observers. Keeping them in range, sieging them up so they're not going to go too far forward. I think that's extremely important because he knows DTs are a factor and he doesn't want to let his observers get sniped so that DTs can then become a big issue in the bigger fights.
Harstem once again trying to re-secure that base that he's already been trying to take for a while. He finds the proxy pylon, ShoWTimE that is, over on the right side of the map with that new Nexus acquired. Now Blink, yeah, forward right there by ShoWTimE on that base on the left. And ultimately that forces Harstem here out of game number 1. Ultimately, ShoWTimE was just a little bit more agile with his army movement, right? Just inching a little bit ahead in every single one of those engagements. And while we did see some nice counterattack damage done there by Harstem at some points, it's, yeah, ShoWTimE who seemed to be in the driver's seat there for the majority of the game.
Yeah, I think excuse me, I think an interesting just situation where ShoWTimE just had a bit more all the way throughout and was able to take slightly better fights then because of that all the way throughout, and just that led to the resources lost advantage, and then he was able to keep on fighting. Harstem just never really did enough, right? Like, he never really quite got himself into that kind of like, oh, well, you do this, I'm going to counterattack. He had like that once with the DTs, and then the DTs never really found anything again. I feel like we never really saw Shadow Stride become a big deal, right? So the advantages he looked to build into never really kind of then brought him back from the trades he was taking.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So the players have decided to jump straight into the lobby for game number 2. So we're going to be getting that one here underway in just a moment. As the beeps have already begun in my headphones. Always a good moment.
I love it when the beeps begin.
The beeps beginning are always great.
Yeah. The literal countdown to StarCraft 2 action continuing.
Absolutely. It's going to be Hecate for game number 2.
Hecate. Oh my god.
That's it. That's it, Wardy. What are you saying right now?
In the top right-hand side of Hecate is going to be our red VODs player down a game. Harstem. You know, I've just seen Ben walk back in the room, sit down, he puts his headset on, and the first thing he hears is that we're still on about the maps.
He gets a smile on his face. All right, and the opponent of Harstem in the opposite corner of Hecate, it's ShoWTimE.
What did he eat, though?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. I wonder if at some point we will get quote-unquote normal StarCraft map names again. I genuinely did this on stream when we first saw the new map pool. I typed it into Bing, asking just generate 100 StarCraft 2 map names, and it generates so many.
It generated you so many.
Yeah, it just takes all of the old maps that have ever been released, and it comes out with tons of suggestions for naming your StarCraft map. I understand it's hard. I understand the map makers are trying to make their maps stand out, but
did you get Steps of Cloud Kingdom or?
No, it actually comes up with some pretty good stuff. I can do it right now.
You're gonna doing it live? Oh,
doing it live.
Map makers, listen out. It would be really great. Next TLMC is the freestyle maps. It'd be really great if all the maps are crazy, but with the most normal names ever. You know,
yes,
like
absolutely
Purple Pathway, or just something really boring name-wise.
All right, it's come up. Okay, it's generating 100 for me right now.
100?
Acid Plant, Ascension to Ire. Wait,
they're already maps.
I think it's generating once. Hold up, it's generating map names that are already made.
I could have done that, mate.
That is funny. Anyways, I don't know if we should be naming our StarCraft maps after Greek goddesses. It seems a little extreme.
A little extreme. There's a couple of stalkers on the way up from ShoWTimE. Harstem pops the robo down in the middle of the map, so he's going to bring a different vibe to this game. Obviously, they both proxied the Stargate last game. Proxy Stargate can still usually end up pretty friendly, right? You put some extra damage in early, sure, but you're still probably looking toward an expand. This is obviously looking to typically be a one base all-in and just send it as the probe. Does not see the robo on the other side of that line of sight blocker, so he just continues by and has gone. This has gone unscouted for the moment.
Yeah, that's a frustrating moment right there. ShoWTimE committing to the early game scout, but not finding it just barely. The odds of him rechecking that location are basically 0, so he may stumble upon it here, but yeah, I don't think he's going to find it here with the probe. Although the Stalkers are still going around too. ShoWTimE getting awfully close, and he does actually find it. Wow, I did not expect that, but ShoWTimE double checking and yeah, making sure that he spots everything. That was actually impressively well done.
Yep, as we do have a couple of stalkers just going to pull back here now. ShoWTimE knows what to somewhat prep for. He is just going to have his own robo and his own gateways. He's going to play in base 3 gate robo, which typically is simply better because what it means is that further down the line, if Harstem ever doesn't keep ShoWTimE on his side of the map, Harstem's very likely going to lose his robo. And that's usually a pretty major tech structure in these games, so expecting this to look definitely a little bit ShoWTimE favored. He kind of just matches Harstem, but in a safer manner.
Yeah, losing the Stargate proxy, usually not quite a big a deal, but losing the Immortal production facility is really, really rough because those units are so powerful. Harstem right now, though, has almost zoned those Stalkers in blue away a little bit. He is going to start committing. You need to be careful, though, because, yeah, one Immortal is not going to have an easy time, or one Prism is not going to have an easy time against those Stalkers. ShoWTimE is going to dedicate at least some of them to trying to shut down those units that now pop out of the Robo facility moving forward. That's going to be end for the Robo production for now.
Yeah, one Immortal, one Prism, that's going to be all he has to play with. Observer doesn't get out as Force Field goes down and buys a bit more time. The only issue for ShoWTimE is he's likely going to lose a gateway. So he'll be down one gate, but he's actually going to push his Immortal very far forward, and he is going to get himself a Stalker straight away. Harstem was very committed to getting that gateway, but it cost him a unit, and ShoWTimE already back down on the map. Meanwhile, he actually starts 4 Stalkers across the map, also poking around looking for opportunity.
Absolutely. Not really getting a whole lot done here with this early game, but it's not like ShoWTimE's economy here is particularly great either. It's just that, yeah, he hasn't been able to get a whole lot done, and he was intending on getting some damage in on the other side of the map. Now is apparently the time, though, for both of these players to start making their expansions, as Harstem just popped down a Nexus, and I think we're going to see one here as well for ShoWTimE as soon as he gets up to 400 minerals, which he is aiming for right about right now.
Yep, there's the Nexus going down. So Nexus on both sides of the map. Stargate, the choice from Harstem. It's kind of fun, right? Because it's if you get Phoenix out, they can lift an Immortal out the fight. They can make sure the Prism can't just linger around, double Immortal dropping forever. So I don't hate the idea. It maybe feels like an odd one, but yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah. I mean, we see the Stalkers... Sorry, we see the Immortals getting disabled all the time by those Phoenixes, and it's definitely not something that I think ShoWTimE is going to expect. It's not usually a transition that we have from here. More commonly, we would see like Twilight Council and then players going into the Blink upgrade, maybe getting the Forge going as well here eventually, but it's an interesting choice, and I wonder if this is something that ShoWTimE is going to expect at all. Is it something that ShoWTimE really needs to scout, though, right? Like, it's one of those scenarios where, yeah, if he scouts it, it's nice, but it's not necessarily going to change his game plan that much.
Hallucination.
Well, he's not using it. Harstem actually just started up a Twilight Council, too.
Yeah, he just popped out an Oracle, going to go into his own Twilight, and just play kind of a delayed Blink. Yeah, all in all, expansions are similarly enough timed. I feel like the tech's going to be fairly similarly enough timed that this is all kind of just okay, you know? Like, I don't feel like anyone's going to take, like, too major of a lead from everything that's happened here. Maybe a bit worried still that Harstem's Robo's in the middle of the map, but clearly not going to go down anytime super soon, so... Yeah, here's the Oracle into the main base, and 4 Stalkers in position. That is the definition of being prepared.
Yep. And obviously ShoWTimE in general, known to not really take a lot of damage from that sort of shenanigans. Very solid when it comes to defending his bases. What exactly ended up going down there?
Harstem rallied his Immortal across the map. I assume he rallied an Observer over here.
Really?
And then the Immortal just rallied across as well, so... Yeah...
Oh, that's painful. We just caught the tail end of that thing just exploding, I guess. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah,
that is the worst unit to lose here.
I just thought it was an Observer coming across the map, and I was like, wait, it's a bit bigger than an Obs, and I clicked, and yeah, it blew up. So yeah, that was an Immortal.
Oh, that is so expensive. Like, the Immortal is by far the most important unit here for both players. You know, giving one away to your opponent here is very, very, yeah, very, very... bad for you. You really need to keep that one alive. Okay, another hallucinated War Prism, just like we saw in the previous match. Obviously, Harstem's production here for those Robo units is coming out in the middle of the map too, so if ShoWTimE does decide to go across, he may very well be able to just shut down that Robo production from Harstem altogether. That's exactly what he's maybe aiming for right now, and it's going to be very difficult for Harstem to stop any of these incoming attacks here from ShoWTimE.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough. I mean, Robo Facility gets depowered. ShoWTimE will just have, like, even the first, like, fight or two with Blink against no Blink could be kind of cool for him. We'll see what he does. He's also the one with Sentries, a couple more Sentries than his opponent, so maybe some opportunities there. He's going to come around. The only issue is obviously attacking up the ramp into that base might be the difficulty. The one Oracle of Harstem coming back over, and there's still a couple Stalkers left behind from ShoWTimE, as he does get up this ramp pretty quick, and on top of this third.
Yeah, force field's not quite perfect here, but the Immortals are standing tall. The problem is normally we have additional Immortal production on the back of it. ShoWTimE aggressively blinks forward, gets one of the Immortals, second one also ends up getting sniped. And while he is getting a couple of probe kills, Harstem that is, in the meantime on the other side of the map, he just has not done enough.